First contact at Andromeda's edge. The vast emptiness of space shattered as the UES Thunderchild dropped out of hyperspace, its massive silhouette casting long shadows across the starlit void. Admiral Helena Santos stood at the bridge's command platform, her weathered hands gripping the railing as the sensor data streamed across the holographic displays surrounding her position. "Status report," she commanded, dark eyes fixed on the strange readings emerging from the Carina sector ahead. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel's fingers danced across his console. Multiple energy signatures detected. "Admiral. They're unusual. Not matching any known configurations in our database. But there's something else. Massive radiation spikes consistent with weapons discharge." The bridge crew maintained their professional composure, but Santos could feel the tension rising. Humanity had spent the last century expanding through their corner of the galaxy, building colonies and establishing trade routes. Yet, in all that time, they'd never encountered another spacefaring civilization. Signs and ruins of long-dead species, yes, but never living, breathing aliens. "Tactical analysis," Santos ordered, and the main view screen shifted to display a strategic overlay of the sector. "We're picking up approximately 30 vessels of varying sizes," reported Commander Sarah Chen, the ship's tactical officer. "Their formation is scattered, defensive. They're running from something, Admiral." Before Santos could respond, a new alert flashed across the displays. "Energy spike," Patel called out. Something big just dropped out of FTL behind the alien fleet. The view screen automatically adjusted, and Santos felt her breath catch. A massive vessel, easily 3 times the size of the Thunderchild, emerged from hyperspace. Its design was organic, almost predatory, with sweeping lines that reminded her of Earth's deep-sea creatures. But what caught her attention were the weapon ports, dozens of them, all powering up to fire. "Battle stations," Santos commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Shields at maximum. Begin emergency power routing to weapon systems." The Thunderchild's crew responded with practiced efficiency. The massive battleship's reactor core hummed to life, feeding power to its experimental shield grid and formidable arsenal. But Santos hadn't given the order to fire. Not yet. This was still first contact, even if it wasn't happening under ideal circumstances. "Open all standard frequencies," she ordered. "Let's try talking first." Moments later, their communication system crackled with multiple incoming transmissions. The ship's AI worked to translate the alien languages, and suddenly the bridge was filled with desperate pleas for help. "Requesting immediate assistance. The harvesters have found us. We have civilians aboard. Shields failing. Cannot maintain this course much longer. Mercy to any who can hear us. We are the last survivors of." Santos' decision was made before the translations finished. "Chen, target the pursuing vessel's weapon systems only. Minimum force necessary to disable their offensive capabilities. Patel, route power to our forward shields and prepare to move us between that ship and the refugee fleet." The bridge crew acknowledged their orders, but Commander Chen spoke up. "Admiral, our analysis suggests their technology is more advanced than ours in several areas. We may be at a significant disadvantage." Santos allowed herself a small smile. "More advanced doesn't always mean better, Commander. Sometimes the oldest solutions are still the best ones. Humanity learned warfare the hard way, fighting ourselves for millennia. Let's show them what we've learned." The Thunderchild's engines flared to life, pushing the massive vessel forward. The alien pursuer, apparently noticing the new arrival, shifted its attention. Energy readings from its weapon ports spiked. "They're charging weapons," Chen reported. "Multiple target locks detected." "Hold position," Santos commanded. "Let them take the first shot. I want the galaxy to know that humanity tried peace first." The alien vessel fired, its energy weapons lashing out with devastating power. The shots impacted the Thunderchild's shields, which flared brilliant blue under the assault. Bridge crew members held their breath, waiting to see if their defenses would hold. Shields at 82% and stabilizing, Patil announced, surprise evident in his voice. Their weapons are powerful, but our new adaptive shield grid is compensating. Santos nodded. The experimental shield system, based on centuries of human warfare and scientific advancement, was proving its worth. Now then, she said, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's first response to alien aggression, let's show them why you should never corner a species that spent its entire history learning how to fight. Weapons locked on target, Chen reported. Ready on your command. Send them a message, Commander, Santos ordered. All frequencies, all languages our AI can translate to. Tell them this is their only warning. They can withdraw now, or they can learn exactly how humanity deals with those who prey on the helpless. As Chen transmitted the message, Santos studied the tactical display. The refugee fleet was regrouping behind the Thunderchild, while the pursuing vessel maintained its aggressive stance. Its next action would determine whether humanity's first major interstellar contact would be marked by peace or combat. The response came in the form of another barrage of weapon fire. I suppose that's their answer, Santos said calmly. Very well. Commander Chen, you may return fire. Show them why humanity's warships carry more than just energy weapons. The Thunderchild's missile tubes opened, and Santos allowed herself a grim smile. The alien vessel's energy shields might be advanced, but she doubted they'd ever encountered good old-fashioned kinetic bombardment combined with electromagnetic warfare. Sometimes the simplest solutions were the most effective. The battle that followed would be remembered across the galaxy for centuries to come. The day humanity announced its presence to the cosmos, not with grand speeches or diplomatic overtures, but by standing between the helpless and those who would prey upon them. The weight of steel. The Thunderchild's initial barrage struck with devastating precision. Kinetic penetrators, designed to punch through energy shields through sheer mass and velocity, crashed against the Harvester vessel's defenses. While individually each hit seemed ineffective, the continuous bombardment created interference patterns in the enemy's shield grid, exactly as intended. Multiple shield frequencies destabilizing, Commander Chen reported, her fingers dancing across the tactical display. Their adaptive systems are struggling to compensate for the varying attack patterns. Admiral Santos watched as the massive alien ship attempted to adjust its position, clearly surprised by the primitive yet effective nature of humanity's weapons. They're used to energy weapons, she observed. Clean, efficient, predictable. They'd forgotten that sometimes the old ways still work best. The refugee fleet had regrouped behind the Thunderchild, their vessels maintaining formation as they watched humanity's warship engage their pursuer. Through the still open communications channels, Santos could hear their shock and confusion. They used solid projectiles, one alien voice questioned. How can such primitive weapons be effective against Harvester shields? The human vessel's design is inefficient, another commented. Yet it stands against a sovereign-class Harvester. A new alert flashed across the bridge displays. Admiral, Patil called out, we're receiving a transmission from the Harvester vessel. They're requesting dialogue. Santos straightened her uniform. Put them through. The main view screen flickered, revealing a being that sent chills down the spines of every human crew member. The Harvester commander appeared to be a shifting mass of metallic tentacles and crystalline structures, all arranged around a central core that pulsed with an unnatural light. Unknown vessel, the alien's translated voice carried artificial harmonics that made it sound like multiple entities speaking in unison. Your interference is unexpected. You protect specimens that belong to us. Withdraw, and we may spare your primitive craft from deconstruction. Santos met the alien's gaze without flinching. This is Admiral Helena Santos of the United Earth ship Thunderchild. Those specimens you refer to are sentient beings under our protection. You will stand down your weapons and withdraw from this sector, or we will demonstrate just how effective our primitive technology can be. The Harvester commander's form shifted, its crystalline components refracting light in patterns that suggested amusement. You do not comprehend your situation, human. We are the Harvesters. We have consumed civilizations far more advanced than yours. Your magnetic projectile weapons are nothing compared to our technological superiority." "Then perhaps," Santos replied with a slight smile, "you'd be interested in learning about our other capabilities before making assumptions." She gestured to Chen. "Tactical. Initiate the electromagnetic pulse sequence." The Thunderchild's specialized EMP arrays powered up, launching a coordinated burst of electromagnetic energy, carefully tuned to interact with the interference patterns already created in the Harvester's shields. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Sections of the alien vessel's shield grid collapsed, its organic-looking hull now exposed to space. The Harvester commander's image flickered as their systems struggled to maintain power. "Impossible," the alien voice wavered. "Our shields are self-adapting, self-repairing, and vulnerable to properly calibrated electromagnetic disruption," Santos finished. "You see, while you were busy advancing your energy weapons and shield technology, humanity spent centuries learning to fight dirty. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most effective one." The refugee fleet watched in amazement as the mighty Harvester vessel's systems continued to fluctuate under the Thunderchild's assault, their communications channels filled with exclamations of disbelief and hope. "Commander Chen," Santos ordered, "target their primary power distribution nodes. Let's show them what happens when they threaten those under human protection." The Thunderchild's main guns roared to life, launching another salvo of kinetic penetrators. This time, with the enemy shields compromised, the impacts struck true. Sections of the Harvester vessel's hull crumpled under the assault, its organic-looking surface burning where the superheated projectiles had struck. "Additional contacts," Patil announced suddenly. "Multiple Harvester vessels dropping out of FTL." Santos' expression hardened as 3 more of the massive alien ships emerged from hyperspace. The odds had just shifted dramatically, but her resolve remained unshaken. "Patch me through to the refugee fleet," she commanded. When the channel opened, she continued, "This is Admiral Santos. Can any of your vessels still fight?" There was a moment of silence before responses began flooding in. One by one, refugee ships began powering up weapon systems they had thought useless against the Harvesters. Their earlier fear was being replaced by something new: hope. "We stand with you, human vessel," came the collective response. "The Harvesters believed us prey. Let us show them the error of their judgment." Santos allowed herself a grim smile. "Very well. Commander Chen, distribute our shield frequency data to our new allies. Let's teach these Harvesters why it's unwise to underestimate primitive species." As the combined fleet prepared for battle, Santos couldn't help but reflect on the irony of the situation. Humanity's first major contact with alien civilizations had come through combat, yet it was their willingness to fight for others that was forging the strongest bonds. The Harvesters had made a critical mistake. They had dismissed humanity as primitive, failing to understand that Earth's long history of warfare had taught its children lessons that more advanced civilizations had forgotten. Sometimes, the weight of steel and the determination to protect others were more powerful than any advanced technology. Echoes of Earth. The Thunderchild's war room buzzed with activity as holographic displays showed the positions of both Allied and Harvester forces. Admiral Santos stood at the central tactical table, surrounded by representatives from 7 different species who had been part of the refugee fleet. Each alien leader brought their own perspective, their own technology, and their own fears to the planning session. "The Harvesters adapt quickly," explained Zixtal, a towering crystalline being whose form shimmed with internal light. "Every tactic we've used against them has eventually been countered. They learn, they evolve, they consume." Santos studied the tactical display, watching the replay of their recent battle. "Then we'll have to be unpredictable. Commander Chen, show them Operation Hydra." The holographic display shifted, showing multiple battle scenarios simultaneously. The alien representatives watched with growing interest as human battle tactics unfolded before them. "You intentionally use outdated technology alongside advanced systems?" asked Mira, a representative of the aquatic Naiadi species. Her bioluminescent patterns flickered with curiosity. "We call it technological diversification," Chen explained. "Energy weapons are powerful and efficient, but they can be predicted and countered. Kinetic weapons are harder to stop completely. Electronic warfare can bypass advanced shields. Sometimes the oldest solutions are still the most effective. Your species evolved as persistence hunters," observed Qatar, "a being of living metal and quantum circuits. You pursued prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. I see this strategy reflected in your military doctrine." Santos nodded. "Humanity learned warfare through millennia of fighting ourselves. We never developed in a straight line like many of your species. We kept the old while developing the new. Swords beside railguns. Ballistic armor alongside energy shields. We learned to be versatile." The tactical display showed the Harvester fleet's current position. They had withdrawn to regroup after the initial engagement, but intelligence suggested they were calling for reinforcements. "We've analyzed their technology," Lieutenant Commander Patol reported, bringing up detailed scans. "Their ships are partially organic, grown rather than built. They can repair themselves, but this also makes them vulnerable to certain types of attack." "Biological warfare," suggested one of the alien representatives, their appendages writhing with discomfort at the notion. "No," Santos replied firmly. "There are lines humanity won't cross, but we can use their organic nature against them in other ways. Commander Chen, show them the resonance weapon concept." The display shifted again, showing a modified version of the Thunderchild's main gun. "Every structure has a natural resonant frequency," Chen explained. "Hit it just right, and even the strongest material can shatter. The Harvester's organic ships are particularly vulnerable to this." "But they will adapt," Sixtol insisted. "They always adapt." "Then we'll give them too many things to adapt to at once," Santos countered. "Each of your species has developed different technologies, different approaches to space combat. Alone, we're predictable. Together, combining our various technologies and tactics, we can overwhelm their ability to adapt." The alien representatives exchanged glances, their various forms of communication, light patterns, quantum fluctuations, biochemical signals, all conveying growing hope. "There's something else you should know about humans," Santos continued, her voice taking on a harder edge. "We don't like bullies. Throughout our history, whenever we've encountered those who prey on the weak, we've stood against them. The Harvesters believe themselves superior because of their advanced technology. They'd forgotten what it means to fight for survival, to innovate under pressure, to adapt not over generations, but in the heat of battle." She gestured to the tactical display, where the combined fleet's ships now showed as a single unified force. "They think themselves hunters, but they've never faced humanity's determination. We evolved to run down our prey, to think ahead, to use tools in ways they were never intended. The Harvesters may have advanced technology, but we have something they've forgotten. The echo of our evolution, the memory of countless battles, and the unwavering will to protect those who cannot protect themselves." Kar's quantum circuits pulsed with understanding. "You propose to make this conflict personal for them, to make them feel hunted." "Exactly," Santos confirmed. "They've never had to face an enemy that thinks like us. They're used to technological superiority winning their battles. But humanity," she smiled grimly. "We've been the underdog before. We know how to fight uphill battles, and we know how to win them." The tactical display updated with new information. More Harvester ships entering the sector. But now, instead of fear, the alien representatives showed determination. They had seen humanity stand against impossible odds. They had witnessed the effectiveness of primitive tactics combined with advanced technology. Most importantly, they had found allies who understood that victory sometimes required thinking differently. The Harvesters believed themselves to be the apex predators of the galaxy, Santos concluded. It's time they learned that Earth's children have our own hunting instincts, and unlike them, we never hunt alone. As the combined fleet began implementing their battle plans, the alien representatives realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. Humanity wasn't just fighting alongside them. They were teaching them how to combine their various strengths, how to think beyond technological superiority, how to become something greater than the sum of their parts. The echo of Earth's long history of warfare was about to become a symphony of resistance against those who thought themselves invincible. Thunder of humanity. Space lit up like a newborn star as the combined fleet engaged the Harvester Armée. The Thunderchild led the charge, its hybrid arsenal of weapons systems unleashing a devastating opening salvo. Behind it, ships of 7 different species moved in perfect coordination, each applying their unique technologies in ways the Harvesters had never encountered. Multiple Harvester vessels adapting to our kinetic weapons, Commander Chen reported, her hands flying across the tactical controls, shifting to Resonance Attack Pattern Delta. Admiral Santos watched as the battle unfolded across multiple holographic displays. The Harvester fleet was massive, at least 30 capital ships supported by hundreds of smaller vessels. Under normal circumstances, such odds would have been impossible. But these weren't normal circumstances. Nayade vessels, execute sonic burst pattern, Santos commanded. Qatar squadrons, prepare for quantum disruption on my mark. The aquatic Nayade ships released concentrated bursts of sound energy, carefully tuned to match the resonant frequencies of the Harvester's organic hull material. Simultaneously, Qatar vessels began generating quantum field disruptions that interfered with the enemy's ability to coordinate their adaptive defenses. They're attempting to compensate, Patil announced. Harvester ships are modifying their hull structure to absorb the sonic attacks. Santos allowed herself a grim smile. Just as we predicted. Zixtal fleet, you have weapons free. Show them why crystalline technology should never be underestimated. The crystalline ships of Zixtal's people moved into position, their entire hulls becoming weapons as they focused and amplified the sonic energy from the Nayade vessels. The combined effect created a cascading resonance that the Harvesters couldn't adapt to fast enough. 3 Harvester capital ships shuddered as their organic hulls began to crystallize and shatter. But the enemy was far from defeated. The remaining vessels quickly adjusted their defensive patterns, their weapons returning fire with devastating force. 2 Nayade cruisers heavily damaged, Chen reported. Qatar squadron taking heavy losses in Sector 7. The Harvesters are learning our pattern. Then it's time to show them something new, Santos decided. All ships, initiate Operation Thunderstrike. Thunderchild will take point. The combined fleet's formation shifted. The alien vessels pulled back, creating a gap in their lines that looked like a critical weakness. The Harvesters, predictably, moved to exploit it. Enemy fleet advancing into the kill zone, Chen confirmed. They're committing their reserves. Santos keyed her comm. All ships, hold position. Wait for my mark. She watched as the Harvester fleet moved deeper into their trap, their organic ships rippling with anticipation of an easy victory. Now, the Thunderchild's experimental weapon system activated. Inspired by Earth's lightning storms, it generated a massive electromagnetic pulse, unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. But this wasn't just a simple EMP. It was carrier wave for something far more devastating. Quantum entanglement field active, Paddle reported. Qatar frequencies synchronized. Nayade sonic matrix aligned. Zixtal crystal lattice resonating at maximum power. The space between the fleets lit up as multiple technologies combined in ways their creators had never imagined. The electromagnetic pulse carried quantum disruptions that prevented adaptation. The sonic waves were amplified through crystalline matrices. And through it all, good old-fashioned human ballistic weapons struck with devastating precision. Multiple Harvester vessels experiencing critical system failures, Chen announced, unable to keep the excitement from her voice. Their adaptive capabilities are overwhelmed. The Harvester fleet's coordinated defense began to crumble. Ships that had dominated the galaxy through superior technology found themselves unable to cope with the sheer variety of attacks they faced. Their organic hulls crystallized and shattered. Their quantum systems fell into chaos. Their shields failed against weapons they had dismissed as primitive. "They're attempting to retreat," Paddle reported, reading multiple hyperspace signatures. "Not this time," Santos declared. "All ships, execute containment pattern. Show them what happens when they underestimate humanity and our allies." The combined fleet moved with practiced precision, cutting off the Harvester's escape routes. Ships that had once fled from the enemy now turned to face them, emboldened by human tactics and leadership. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. The Harvesters, faced with an enemy they couldn't simply adapt to and overcome, fought with increasing desperation. But for every adaptation they made, the combined fleet had 3 different countermeasures ready. Hours later, as the last Harvester vessel fell silent, the magnitude of their victory became clear. The supposedly invincible predators had been defeated by the very primitiveness they had scorned. Human ingenuity, combined with alien technology, had proven that superiority wasn't just about advancement. It was about creativity, determination, and the willingness to try the unexpected. "Status report," Santos called out, surveying the aftermath. 16 Harvester capital ships destroyed, 11 captured, Chen responded. The remainder have fled the sector. Combined fleet casualties at 28%, far less than projected. Santos nodded slowly. "Open a channel to all ships." Legacy of Terra. 3 months after the Battle of the Carina sector, the UES Thunderchild docked at Nexus Station Alpha, humanity's first joint technological development center with their new alien allies. The massive station, built through the combined efforts of 8 species, represented something unprecedented in the galaxy, a fusion of different technological philosophies and cultural approaches to space exploration. Admiral Helena Santos stood in the station's main observation deck, watching as ships from across the galaxy moved through the bustling space lanes. Among them were vessels of designs never before seen, hybrid creations that combined multiple species technologies with human innovation. "The latest reports from the frontier are encouraging," Commander Chen said, approaching with a datapad. 3 more Harvester incursions repelled in the past week. Their attacks are becoming less frequent and less coordinated. Santos nodded, her eyes tracking the particularly interesting vessel, a Nayade cruiser retrofitted with human kinetic weapons and Qatar quantum systems. "They're learning that adaptation isn't enough anymore." "How are the integration projects progressing?" "Better than expected," Chen replied, bringing up the relevant data. "The Zixtal crystalline computing matrices work surprisingly well with human analog systems. We're seeing processing capabilities that neither species thought possible. And the Qatar quantum engineers are still trying to understand how our primitive electronic warfare systems enhance their quantum field generators." A soft chime announced another arrival. Zixtal's crystalline form caught the starlight as they entered the observation deck, accompanied by Qatar's metallic presence and Mira's bioluminescent grace. "Admiral Santos." Zixtal's translated voice carried tones of respect. "The Galactic Council's representatives have arrived. They're quite interested in discussing humanity's role in recent events." Santos turned to face her allies, her friends, now, after all they'd been through together. "I imagine they are. The Harvesters have terrorized this galaxy for centuries. No one expected them to be defeated by a combination of advanced technology and what they considered primitive weapons. That's what they still don't understand." Tar observed, their quantum circuits pulsing thoughtfully. It was never about the technology. It was about the approach. The human approach. Mira's bioluminescence shifted in patterns of agreement. "Your species thinks differently. Where we saw limitations, you saw opportunities. Where we sought perfect solutions, you embraced imperfect but effective ones. Humanity's greatest strength," Santos replied, "has always been our ability to learn from others while maintaining our own identity. We took your advanced technologies not to replace our methods, but to enhance them." The observation deck's doors opened again, admitting Lieutenant Commander Puddle. "Admiral, you're going to want to see this." We finished analyzing the data from the captured harvester vessels. The holographic display activated, showing complex technical readouts. The alien representatives moved closer, their various sensory organs focusing on the information. Their entire society was built on the assumption of technological supremacy, Paddle explained. They believed that the most advanced solution was always the best solution. They couldn't comprehend a species that would choose to use inferior technology alongside advanced systems. And that was their downfall, Santos concluded. They expected us to fight like them, to try to match their level of technological advancement. Instead, we brought something they'd forgotten: diversity of approach. Simple solutions alongside complex ones, old weapons beside new technologies. The legacy of Terra, Zixtol mused, their crystalline form refracting light in contemplative patterns. Not just your weapons or your tactics, but your way of thinking. Your willingness to embrace multiple approaches rather than seeking a single perfect solution. The station's alert system chimed softly, reminding them of the pending council meeting. As they moved to leave the observation deck, Santos paused for one last look at the combined fleet outside. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "when humanity first reached for the stars, we dreamed of finding allies among them. We prepared for war, yes, but we hoped for friendship. Now we have both, not because we were the strongest or the most advanced, but because we were willing to stand and fight for others, to share what we knew while learning from those around us." The group made their way toward the council chambers, where representatives from dozens of species awaited them. But they all knew that the real work was already happening throughout the station and across the galaxy. Human engineers worked alongside alien scientists, combining technologies in ways neither would have imagined alone. Military strategists from 8 species shared tactics and techniques, creating defense protocols that made the harvesters' adaptive abilities less relevant with each passing day. As they entered the council chambers, Santos reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not through conquest or technological superiority, but through cooperation and innovation. They had shown the galaxy that true strength came not from having the most advanced technology, but from having the wisdom to use all available tools effectively. The legacy of Terra would echo through the cosmos not as a story of human dominance, but as a testament to the power of diversity. In technology, in tactics, and in thought. The galaxy was changing, and humanity's gift to it was not any single advancement, but the reminder that sometimes the oldest solutions, combined with new ideas, could overcome any challenge. As the council session began, Santos smiled. The harvesters had sought to prey on those they considered inferior, only to be defeated by the very primitiveness they despised. In doing so, they had inadvertently helped forge something new, a galaxy where different species worked together, combining their strengths and compensating for each other's weaknesses. The thunder of humanity's arrival had faded, but its echo would reshape the cosmos for generations to come. In the end, that was humanity's true legacy. Not the weapons they brought or the battles they won, but the bridges they built between different ways of thinking, fighting, and living among the stars.